Pinterest. I'm Shorty Vaughn. And if you can see out that window, I'm up late again. Yeah. So I bought 1 2-minute cabbages for family dinner night. Don't want it to go to waste. Kind of cabbaged out right now. We've had a lot. I love it, but I've reached my limit. Not going to let it go to waste. I'm going to dehydrate it. And I do blanch my cabbage ever so briefly, about 2 minutes before I dehydrate it, to preserve the color more than anything. It's an additional step. You don't have to take it, but I will be doing it tonight. So let's go ahead and get started by cutting up our cabbage. And I think I'm going to just do it easy peasy. So about 1 inch from the core, I'm going to go ahead and slice straight down. And this cabbage has been washed. And we're going to blanch it too, so it will be just fine. Straight down. So you can see that I got a pretty clean cut and none of the core, so that's good. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side, just about 1 inch down from the center core. And there's my next cut. Also really nice. Yay, hooray. I'm going to do this on all 4 sides. And then I'm going to take the top off. That one got tangled up a little bit. It'll be all right. Don't worry about it. Straight down. And now we have quartered our cabbage. And I'm going to go ahead and say about 2 inches from the core here. We're just going to go straight down one more time. Okay. Well, maybe just a tad bit more. There we go. That's better. Now I'm going to go ahead and compost this because I don't find the core to be particularly appetizing. So I'm going to just go ahead and set that off here to the side. And what I'm going to do, my water is already boiling over here on the stove, and I'm going to go ahead and put these all in. It's a big enough pot. I think I can do all of the sections at one time. And I'm just going to give that a 2-minute boil in this just to blanch it a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get a little cold water together so that we can give it a cold water immersion to stop the cooking process, because I want these just blanched to preserve the color, not cooked through. I'm going to get my water together, and we'll go over to the stove and get these blanched. Okay. Got our cold water bath here. Got our cabbage. I'm going to be using the spider today because this is at a vigorous boil, and I don't want to take any chances in here. And no burns in the middle of the night. I don't want to have to wake anybody up to rescue me. Safety first. There we go. All right. I'm going to start the 2-minute timer now. A lot of good applications for this. If you were going to make like a dehydrated glumpi, this would be good. And a glumpi is a Polish cabbage roll. And so if you were going to make it dehydrated, I would do a layer of the meat, I would do a layer of the rice, I would do a layer of the cabbage, and repeat kind of like a lasagna, pouring my tomato sauce inside. That would be delicious. And that would be a great way to use dehydrated cabbage, because that tomato sauce would just, would just plump it right up. It would be great. That's probably exactly what I would do with it. That's 2 minutes. Turn it off. Bring my ice bath forward here a little bit. And let's go ahead and grab my cabbage. Okay. We'll get a spoon for a little extra support. Yeah, we'll make it. I should have got a bigger bowl. It's the story of my life. It's alright. We'll make it. Cabbage is also one of those things that I will dehydrate outside, because as it dehydrates, especially like the first 2 hours, it's a little smelly. It's a little sulfuric. And so, yeah, I will just go ahead and pop this outside on my patio and irritate my neighbors. Ooh, and then we have some delicious cabbage water over here. I don't know. I might have to think of something to do with this. I'm going to set this on the back, let it cool off. Maybe I'll think of something delicious to do with that cabbage water. I don't know. Maybe I'll make some beans with it. Sounds good. All right, I'm going to let this cool off. I'm going to drain it, and then I'm going to dry this so that for ease of shredding. Absolutely. I found this at Goodwill. I think I paid 50 cents for it. I'm pretty sure it is like the inset for a cooler, but I really like to use it as a strainer because it's got lots of surface area. And if I'm straining something large like cabbage leaves, I like this because it can make straining really easy. They dry really fast because it has a lot of surface area. If you find one of these at Goodwill, pick it up. Anyhow, I'm just going to go ahead and toss it in here. I'm going to pour my cabbage leaves in here. Well, not that one. That one fell in the sink. Pour my cabbage leaves in here and let these get draining. And just going to separate them out a little bit. So that they all get dry, and then we're going to shred these up, get them dehydrated. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, no problem. So those look terrific. Love the color. They're all draining. Let's just give them a little shaky shake maybe. Maybe that'll help them out. Okay. I'm going to grab some towels and go ahead and get these drying. Okay, so my cabbage is pretty dry. Did turn the overhead fan on just to make sure that it got as much as it needed. Got my dehydrator trays all set up here. This is a little bit of cabbage that was on my cutting board from quartering it. Now I'm just going to take a layer of cabbage and kind of build a stack here. And then I'm just going to go straight down and make these into shreds. These will significantly shrink. That's okay with me. It's easier storage. And they will plump right back up when hot water is applied. And then I will just go ahead and layer these onto my dehydrator tray. And you can cut these any way you want. I just think that, especially if I'm going to use these for making like a deconstructed galumpi, that the shreds are going to be the best. You could also use these to make one of those really popular cabbage lasagnas. So you would take your dehydrated shreds and just layer it with your meat and your ricotta mixture and whatever else. And then go ahead and add your tomato sauce and all of those good things, and you would be in like Flynn. And like I said, dehydrating or blanching these for dehydration is absolutely your choice. You could just go ahead and shred it. You could go ahead and put it on there just from a raw state. That would be just fine. I'm just doing this because I want it to be as pretty as possible. I don't know why. Presentation counts, I guess. At least in our household. So we're almost there. This really doesn't take any time at all. And it's a nice way to preserve food because, like I said, this will reduce in size significantly. We'll probably get a whole head of cabbage inside of a quart jar. Hello. And then it is easy storage for future use. If it's a little bit wet, don't worry about it. We're distributing these pretty well over many trays because I don't have another dehydrating project lined up right now. So we can use all the trays just for this cabbage. I'm guessing that it's going to take somewhere between 10 and 12 hours, maybe less. I'm going to check on it. You know I am. I'm going to rotate my trays from bottom to top and round and round so that we don't get any hot spots, so that it all looks really good. What happens if you over dehydrate something? That's a good question. Well, nothing really. It might not look the most appealing. It may take a few extra minutes for it to rehydrate. That would really be about the only consequence of over dehydrating something. It will still be edible. It may not look the prettiest. It may take more time for it to rehydrate. It may take more liquid for it to hydrate. But, you know, let's say that tomorrow I don't feel well and I don't go out onto the patio to rotate my trays and that top tray gets a little bit hot. It will probably have a brownish look to it. But I don't think that that really makes it any less delicious than if it was perfectly, you know, green and yellow and what have you. It would still be fine. It would still be fine. I would mix it in with the bottom trays, give it a good shaky shake. And that's another thing. When you dehydrate things, it's okay to leave them on the counter. I usually leave them on the counter for about 3 days. And then as I walk by them, I do just go ahead and give them a little shaky shake so that they are not clumping together. And it makes them extra good. It's called conditioning. And it's just one of those things. Just one of those fussy little things that dehydrators like. But, you know, if you're dehydrating, you're probably a little bit fussy. That's okay. I'm a little bit fussy. Andrew's a lot fussy. Okay, so we have all of our trays ready to go. Oh, there's my blank. That's what I was looking for. Okay, I always put a blank on top. I don't know why. I just do. I like this Nesco dehydrator. You can buy and add more trays to it so that you can dehydrate lots of projects or big bulk items. I also have little blue, this is like painter's tape. And I have it because, like I said, I will rotate mine from the bottom to the top, from the bottom to the top, from the bottom to the top. But then I will also turn them ever so slightly so that they are all getting the same amount of heat as much as possible. Yeah. I don't know that it really makes that big of a difference, but it's something that I like to do. Oh, there we go. Get my blue tape all lined up. I only like to use as many as I can really see over, trays as I can see over. So, but if you're taller, by all means, make your pile as high as you want to with your trays. You can buy the extra trays on Amazon or from Nesco directly. It's out on the back patio. I forgot. I'm going to turn my temperature to 125 degrees. And I think that that is a good temperature to dry this at because I don't want my cabbage to get brown. It's a little bit lower than the fruits and vegetables setting at 135, 10 degrees less. But this will, in my opinion, dehydrate pretty rapidly. Like I said, it might be 8 or 10 hours. I'm going to check it, pardon me, I'm going to check it and rotate my trays. And I might even have to start pulling some trays off early and getting those offset. So my little cabbage dehydrating process. I see deconstructed galumpki in my future, and maybe even a small cabbage lasagna. Yay, hooray. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get this set on the back patio, 125, and I'm going to check it about every 2 hours. Okay, so it's been about 15 hours. It took me a little bit longer than I thought to dehydrate my cabbage, but we are all set, and this is how it turned out. I think the color is lovely, green and yellow. I don't have any particular dark spots. I did rotate and also top to bottom turn my trays. And it's amazing to me how little this becomes. It looks very insubstantial. It will, however, rehydrate and come together beautifully in my dishes later on. And should we get into a point where, you know, every little bit counts, well, we've got some dehydrated cabbage. Yay, hooray, it'll fill bellies. So I think we're just going to pick up these trays, and let's see if I can get to a point where you can actually see something. How about that? That'll be better. Okay, I've got my big measuring bowl here, and then I have my flexible mat that is on my tray, and I'm just going to lift it up like that, and then I'm just going to kind of, oh, that worked fairly effectively. I'm just going to go ahead and press out and flex, make sure that we're getting every little bit. These flexible mats are really helpful. I don't want to lose any. It took all the time to do it. Might as well get every bit that you can. And you can just kind of press it through the back. Like I said, the hardest thing about dehydrating really is offsetting and then, you know, getting it into your storage container. Storage containers, let's talk about that. I particularly like to reuse glass jars from products that I have purchased, and they've been washed, rinsed, and sanitized and are just waiting for their second life, so to speak, like Shirley MacLaine, just waiting for a new life. Anyhow, today I'm going to fill up this one. It used to hold instant coffee. Smells fine, doesn't smell like anything. Washed, rinsed, bleached. Yep, it's all ready. And it'll find a brand new purpose in holding my cabbage. Now, I don't like to use, and try not to. Sometimes it is unavoidable if I run out of jars. I try never to run out of jars. But if I run out of jars, sometimes I will have to temporarily use a plastic bag, you know, a zipper bag, a Ziploc, the store equivalent, what have you. I don't really like it though, because like even though this cabbage was soft, it is now quite crispy. and it has hard edges, and it can easily puncture that plastic bag. And then the things in my plastic bag, my dehydrated items, may be susceptible to outside moisture. And I don't want them just rehydrating on their own and then getting stuck in a bag and then going moldy, because that's a waste of time, effort, and money. So while sometimes I may have to temporarily store something in a plastic bag, I do want to get it inside of a glass jar, or even a metal coffee can or something like that that can hold your dehydrated items without the fear of moisture getting to them. Depending on how long I think I'm going to hold it, I may or may not use an oxygen absorber as well. And if you only do small batch dehydrating like I do, when you buy your oxygen absorbers, make sure that they're packaged individually. You'll see these great bargains on like 100 oxygen absorbers for $3, and that's great, except once you open the bag and all of your oxygen absorbers have been exposed to oxygen, they're not going to last very long. So see if you can buy the ones that are individually packaged, or what have you. If you have one of those seal-a-meals with the, you know, it goes on, the lid goes over your lid and removes the oxygen, I've heard those work great. My seal-a-meal is a little bit older and it does not have that feature. I'm still looking at Goodwill for a better one. I know I'll find it. I just got to go on the right day. That's the real problem, is that I don't go to Goodwill enough. I don't say that. I don't go thrift store shopping enough. That's why I am not finding the bargains that I see everybody else get. But that's okay. Anyhow, so I'm just going to go ahead and package these. And this is a time, okay, let's say that you did run out of jars. Go on your little Nextdoor app where everybody complains and whines and moans about everything under the sun, and put a shout out on there. Hey, friends, neighbors, relations, what have you, I need some glass jars. Does anybody have any that they can help me out? And I have done this before, and the response was overwhelming. People were so happy to give me their glass jars. A lot of the women and men said to me, you know, it was just too good of a jar to throw away. And I know that one. It was too good of a jar to throw away, but I've had it a while. I haven't done anything with it. And, you know, I'm glad that somebody's finally going to get some use out of it. And typically, it's a pretty great jar. And I will take any jar. Pickle jar, applesauce, you know, spaghetti sauce. I ain't picky about my jar. Now, I won't use those for canning, but they're perfectly acceptable for dry storage. And so, yep, we're just kind of pushing it down in there. We're just going to get this all in here, no problem, no sweat. It'll be all right. And even if my cabbage gets a little crumbly, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. It'll be fine. Okay, we did it. We did it. We got it all in there. We got it in. Okay, fantastic. Now let's go ahead and I'm going to put my jar inside of my measuring cup. And then I'm going to tip this up and get those last bits in there. And now we are all set. Put the lid on. There's my dehydrated cabbage. I'll put a little label on it, and then I'll put it up on my shelf. It'll look beautiful. Love the color. Look at that. Dehydrated cabbage. Okay, how to use this. I like the 1:4 ratio. For whatever measurement that you take out of this jar, it's going to need about 4 parts of boiling water to rehydrate it. And if you use too much water, see, you take, you know, 1/4 of a cup out of this and you add a whole cup of water to it, fine and dandy. You look down and you have excess water and this is rehydrated. Don't worry, just pour off the water, add it to your stuff. Or maybe your casserole needs a little moisture. There you go. Now you've got extra flavored water. Makes it extra special. All right, dehydrate some cabbage. It's good for you. This has anti-aging properties. It's great for your liver. Tastes good. I can't think of anything wrong with it. Dehydrate some cabbage. All right. Maybe you could even cabbage. But the Easter Bunny likes cabbage. But Betty likes some cabbage. There you go. Little treat for the Easter Bunny, if nothing else. Thanks for watching Crazy But Not Dangerous. I'm Shorty Vaughn. Be good, be careful, look both ways. I'll see you next time. Happy Easter. It's right around the corner. Watch out. Get ready. Alright guys, thanks for watching Crazy But Not Dangerous. I'm Shorty Vaughn. Be good, be careful, look both ways. Be good, be... Oh, Lord have mercy.